This is the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room. In less than 12 hours, it will be time for Nigerians to exercise their civic duty. And so this is technically a technical room, so to speak. So they'll be receiving calls. It's a call center. They'll be receiving calls, reports from across the field. They have observers spread across the 36 states of the Federation. They'll be bringing minute-by-minute details of what is happening on the field, local government by local government, as it is occurring. And so right here, they're expecting free, fair, and credible elections to happen, as enshrined in the National Peace Accord signed recently. And also, they will be looking out for security and safety of all parties involved. Party agents, polling units, observers, voters, and the rest of it. Don't forget, just last week, before the elections was postponed, the Situation Room observed with dismay delay in distribution of polling election materials across several states across the Federation, and they spoke about this. That was just before the election was postponed, and right after, of course, Nigerians waited with bated breath to know whether or not the elections would hold. And so just less than 12 hours to the not day any longer, just few hours to go. How prepared is INEC? We have a lot of people talking about the elections in various ways, but I have with me Mr. Achike Trude, spokesman for Reclaim Niger, and a member of the Situation Room, the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room. Thank you for joining us on The Verdict. So tell us exactly, you have been, going around observing what exactly is happening. What do you see now?
Well, I think it has more to do with what INEC is telling us, because they are in charge of the arrangements. They have been giving us assurances, but of course you know that Nigerians are not exactly going to go to sleep on the basis of the assurances by INEC. They say once bitten, twice shy. So I think Nigerians are twice shy right now. They want to, it is as they say, by their fruits you shall know them. So they want to wait for the fruits that INEC is going to produce to actually determine whether they are able to walk the talk. In spite of that, we have been doing our own work. We have been doing our own job because, like you said, the stakes are exceedingly very high. It's about our country, and we are all holding our breath. Of course, we are hoping for a good election. We are hoping that this election will usher in, that period a lot of us have been praying for, where actually we can actually begin to take our country, put our country on a different pedestal in terms of development, in terms of meaningful life and living for the people, of Nigeria. We are beset by myriads of all kinds of situations, all kinds of problems in the country, and that is the essence of an election. It is a period of renewal of hope and optimism that the future is going to be better than the present and the past. And so we have been getting reports even before now from our field officers and agents across the nation.
What kind of reports? Are you satisfied with what you've been listening to?
Well, we talked about it in the press conference that was given out, that was put out yesterday, where we also talked about a few discrepancies that we have seen, in as much as they are not exactly widespread as to cause a major alarm. But the fact that materials, INEC materials are being found in places other than they were, destined, for. We have some materials that are supposed to go to Kano. You find them in Anambra State. Those in Edo, you find them in Kwara. These are causes for concern, and we are genuinely concerned, really. But then again, we want to believe that they are not exactly widespread to cause so much, substantial damage to the conduct of the election itself, but still they are cause for worry. We are also looking at the issue of incidences, across the country, and we did enlighten, enlighten Nigerians to the fact that about, over 261 Nigerians have been killed in the past few weeks, and this is a very horrendous statistic that normal people should be very, should be appalled, at. And then, the spate of violence that we're seeing in parts of the country. What happened in Kano recently. We also have reports of some untoward incidences, I think, in Kogi State and some other parts of the country. All of these things are cause for worry, and we are genuinely worried, and we are hoping that the police will live up to their words, that they are up to the task of making sure that Nigerians are kept safe during this period.
One of the expectations from the civil society situation room is that there will be non-interference from security agencies. They should just do their job and leave the polls to go, as it should. Do you see any case of interference going on tomorrow?
Well, actually, during the press conference, it was not just we did not just talk about it. It was a warning that we also issued to security operatives, that they should remember that there are rules of engagement that must be adhered to, and that there are repercussions, not just at the domestic level but at the international level, in terms of violation of certain codes of conduct among officers. And then I think the press conference, we quoted a relevant article of the United Nations that holds officers responsible for the personal action that they engage in dealing with the civilian populace, and no longer are people now going to seek recourse to the fact that they took instruction from superior authority. This was what was came out during the Nuremberg trial after the Second World War, when virtually everybody that came out that was accused of committing grave crimes against humanity kept on saying that they were following the last order. But I mean, it is very clear that you are responsible for whatever actions you undertake in the course of carrying out your responsibilities. And so this is a warning that has been issued, and we hope that the security operatives would also realize that they are accountable to the Nigerian people, and they are also accountable under international law. So these are some of the issues we have looked at. But I think some of us were refreshed by the intervention of the Inspector General of Police, whose intervention is remarkably different from that of his predecessor. He acknowledged the fact that even when you have malfeasance, no matter the level of malfeasance, I mean during the election, that such people are going to be arrested, they are going to be prosecuted, and they are going to be brought before the court, so that the court will take whatever decision they see fit. And I think that is quite remarkable about when he made that intervention. It showed a lot of maturity, it showed discipline, it showed professionalism, and it showed that he understood the rudiments of the law.
So you monitor 2015 elections, and if you were to make comparisons between then and now, in terms of preparation and how prepared Nigerians are eventually of this, what sort of disconnect or loophole would you point out?
Yeah, well, again, people will tell you that in 2011 we had the election was postponed. In 2015 the election was postponed, and in but again, as far as I'm concerned, these are just excuses that we are looking for to justify some things that obviously went wrong. The reality is that we are supposed to progress from one to the other, from one election to the other. So if 3 elections down the line from 2011, we are still making the mistakes of 2011, you cannot say that we have actually progressed. So these are some of the issues that have actually come up. So in terms of preparation, I would say, well, that the basis for this postponement in 2011, 2015, and this election 2019 is essentially the same thing. Obviously, if they were ready, they would not have postponed in 2011, they would not have postponed in 2015, and they would not have postponed now. So we see the same kind of situation. But again, if there's any comparison that one will look at, again, it is at the level of tension that has been generated by this election. And it's also unfortunate because, like I said, an election is supposed to be a bold statement on the participation of the people to determine their present and their future. And so it is something that we should look up to with, we should look at with optimism, and hope that now perhaps things could be better. But the unfortunate thing is that we are beginning to approach each election with a lot of trepidation, and apprehension and fear. Yeah, and I think that is wrong. And I think I remember a circumstance in 2015 when, on behalf of my organization then, I stood before a lot of security officers to talk about the election in 2015, and I saw there was so much palpable fear then, and I just ended up by saying, look, that a lot of people believe that this election is going to create a lot of crisis and so on, but that the election will come and go, and Nigeria will still remain. And it was the amen, the loudness of the amen in the hall. I mean, these are security officers that really showed me even how, worried that they themselves were that there might be crisis. But luckily, again, that the crisis was averted.